Vasile Frumuzache, a 32-year-old Romanian security guard, confessed to the brutal murders of two women, Maria Denisa Paun and Anna Maria Andrei, in Montecatini Terme, Italy, in 2024 and 2025. He strangled and decapitated Denisa, disposing of her body in a rural area, and stabbed Anna Maria, hiding her remains in the same field. In this documentary, we'll examine his crimes through the lens of psychology and psychoanalysis, unraveling the dark impulses that drove him to kill. Why spotlight Vasile Frumuzache? His crimes aren't just gruesome. They're a chilling window into a psyche consumed by control and violence, a perfect case for psychological dissection. The calculated savagery of his murders, targeting vulnerable women and desecrating their bodies, screams a mind unhinged yet methodical, making him a compelling subject. Imagine this. May 15, 2024, a seedy hotel room in Prato, Italy. Maria Denisa Paun, a 30-year-old escort, lies lifeless on the floor, her throat crushed, her head severed with a knife. Frumuzache stuffs her remains into a black suitcase, her blood soaking the fabric, and drags it to his car under cover of night. Months later, he confesses to stabbing Anna Maria Andrei, another escort, leaving her body to rot in a Montecatini field. "I killed her because she tried to run," he told prosecutors, his voice cold, as reported by Corriere della Sera. He burned Denisa's head in his garden, gasoline fumes masking the stench of charred flesh. These acts weren't just murders. They were a grotesque performance of power, a nightmare that demands we understand the monster behind it. Let's step into Vasile Frumuzache's world, where the seeds of horror were sown. Born in Romania, Frumuzache, 32 at the time of his arrest, lived in Montecatini Terme, Italy, with his wife and two children. As a security guard, he projected an image of stability, his Facebook filled with family photos, as noted by La Stampa. But beneath this facade, something festered. While his early life isn't well documented, psychological patterns suggest a troubled foundation. Growing up in Romania, possibly in a strict or unstable environment, he may have faced childhood trauma, a common precursor to violent behavior. Psychoanalytically, this aligns with attachment theory, where early neglect or rejection can breed emotional detachment and a distorted view of relationships. If Frumuzache felt powerless as a child, his later need for control could stem from this wound. His role as a security guard is telling. Such jobs often attract individuals craving authority, a way to compensate for feelings of inadequacy. Psychologically, this hints at narcissistic traits, where an inflated sense of self masks deep insecurity. His stable family life, married, 2 kids, suggests a split personality, a term for when someone compartmentalizes their life to hide darker impulses. Psychoanalyst Otto Kernberg would call this splitting, where Frumuzache separated his normal self from the killer within. His choice to target escorts, women on society's margins, points to opportunistic predation, selecting victims he could dominate without immediate suspicion. His claim that Denisa blackmailed him for 10,000 euros, threatening to expose their encounter to his wife, suggests a narcissistic injury, a blow to his ego that triggered rage. The night of May 15, 2024, in Prato's Ferrucci residence, is where the horror began. Denisa, a 30-year-old Romanian escort, met Frumuzache in room 101. CCTV captured him entering at 10:50 p.m. with a black duffel bag, his face calm, betraying nothing. After a paid sexual encounter, he claimed Denisa demanded 10,000 euros to keep silent about their meeting. "She said she'd tell my wife," he told prosecutor Luca Tescaroli, as reported by Il Messaggero. His response was brutal. He strangled her, hands tightening until her body went limp. Then with a knife, he severed her head, blood pooling on the floor, the air thick with death. He stuffed her body into her own black suitcase, her head in a garbage bag, and loaded both into his car. At 1 a.m., cameras caught him dragging a white trolley, Denisa's lifeless remains inside, to a rural Montecatini field. There, he dumped her body among the underbrush, a place so remote it was like she was erased, a Carabinieri officer told La Stampa. Months later, Frumuzache confessed to a second killing. Anna Maria Andrei, another escort, vanished August 1st, 2024. He admitted stabbing her when she tried to flee, her body left in the same Montecatini field. She ran. "So I killed her," he told prosecutors, per il Fatto Quotidiano. Her car, found repainted in his garage, linked him to the crime. He burned Denisa's head in his garden, using gasoline and wood, the flames licking the night sky. The charred remains, found miles away, were a grim testament to his attempt to erase evidence. These acts, strangulation, decapitation, stabbing, reflect a sadistic need for control, a desire to dominate and destroy. What drove Frumuzache to such depravity? Psychologically, he shows signs of antisocial personality disorder, marked by a lack of remorse and disregard for others' rights. His calm demeanor during interrogations, detailing decapitation and burning with chilling detachment, suggests psychopathic traits, where empathy is absent and violence is a tool for power. Psychoanalytically, his actions align with Freud's death drive, a destructive impulse turned outward to annihilate others. The blackmail claim, whether true or not, likely triggered a narcissistic rage, an explosive reaction to perceived humiliation. Dr. Robert Hare, a psychopathy expert, notes that such individuals often act to protect a fragile ego, and Frumuzache's need to silence Denisa fits this pattern. His choice of escorts as victims is significant. Psychologically, this reflects opportunistic targeting, as marginalized women are less likely to be immediately missed. Psychoanalytically, escorts may have symbolized a forbidden desire tied to his double life, which he sought to destroy to maintain his respectable facade. The decapitation and burning suggest a symbolic annihilation, an attempt to erase the victim's identities and his own shame. Dr. Julian Boone, a forensic psychologist, suggests such extreme acts often stem from a need to purify the self through violence. Frumuzache's methodical disposal, suitcases, remote fields burning, points to a disorganized, organized killer hybrid, impulsive in the act but calculated in covering it up. His confessions, only after being cornered, indicate minimization, a defense mechanism to downplay guilt. Montecatini Terme, a quiet Tuscan town, was rocked by the discoveries. "This isn't our world," a local told Corriere della Sera, voice trembling. The community mourned Denisa, whose body was found on June 4th, 2025, near an abandoned farmhouse, hidden among brambles. Anna Maria's remains, located after Frumuzache's confession, deepen the horror. "It's like a nightmare you can't wake from," a neighbor told La Repubblica. Media outlets, from Il Messaggero to RTL 102.5, described the ferocious assault, the brutality shocking even seasoned investigators. Carabinieri traced Frumuzache's car via GPS, and CCTV footage sealed his fate, showing him hauling Denisa's suitcase. Social media posts on X, like one from a Courier Firens, called him obsessive with his victims, hinting at a serial killer's profile. The town's sense of safety shattered, with residents locking doors, haunted by the idea that a family man could hide such evil. Frumuzache's arrest came on June 4th, 2025, after Denisa's body was found. GPS tracking and CCTV footage led Carabinieri to him, and during interrogations, he confessed to both murders. "I did it alone," he told prosecutor Luca Tescaroli. Per RTL 102.5, claiming Denisa's blackmail and Anna Maria's attempt to flee provoked him. The discovery of Anna Maria's repainted car in his garage forced his second confession. He is now in prison, facing charges of murder and corpse suppression, with a trial pending. If convicted, he could face life behind bars. Philosophically, Frumuzache's case raises questions of choice versus compulsion. Jean-Paul Sartre's existentialism suggests he freely chose his actions, embracing violence to assert control. Yet, his possible trauma and psychopathic traits hint at a determinism, a man shaped by inner demons. Hannah Arendt's radical evil applies here. His crimes weren't banal, but a deliberate rejection of humanity, driven by a need to dominate. His confessions, devoid of remorse, reflect a moral void, a refusal to confront his own darkness, leaving us to wonder if such a soul can ever find redemption. Denisa and Anna Maria's murders left scars on Montecatini. "She was just trying to survive," a friend of Denisa told Il Messaggero, grief raw in her voice. Psychologically, Frumuzache's case shows how a double life can mask a killer's impulses, his need for control erupting in unthinkable violence. His targeting of escorts, his brutal methods, his calculated disposal, all point to a psyche fractured by shame and rage. Philosophically, he forces us to ask, how thin is the line between order and chaos? His story is a warning that evil can lurk behind the most ordinary faces, a truth that haunts us long after the credits roll.